Welcome back to another episode of Cyclone InCyders on ISU TV. I'm Zach Williamson, joined with Ben Olson and Brian Birchka, and we're going to do what we always do. We're going to talk some sports. Let's start with men's basketball. Last Wednesday, the Cyclones fell to TCU, and a very emotional night for Donovan Jackson. They lost 83-89. You know, really strong team effort. Jackson was incredible, 27 points. Mary Rominger was there with the coverage, and she has more.
Action has just gone underway here inside Hilton Coliseum as the 13-13 Iowa State Cyclones are taking on the 18-9 TCU Horned Frogs. Storylines reign the court here tonight as Iowa State is battling some lineup adversity. Both Solomon Young and Nick Weiler-Babb have been ruled out for the entire season. On the other hand, TCU is seeking their first regular season sweep over Iowa State since being entered into the Big 12. Currently, TCU is 4 spots above Iowa State in those Big 12 standings, but TCU knows that Iowa State still poses a threat as Iowa State defeated 3 previously ranked opponents this year. The first half was all Iowa State. The team took control early courtesy of a 10-0 run to make it 26-18 with 10:54 remaining in the opening frame. The Cyclones led 47-41 going into the half. The second half was a completely different story. TCU came out hot, making 10 of 12 shots to take a 62-56 lead. Zoran Talley Jr. helped the Cyclones close the gap, but the Horned Frogs had the answer every time. It was a close battle that went down to the final minutes. But despite senior point guard Donovan Jackson having 27 points, Iowa State couldn't regain the lead. TCU took the game and improved to 19-9 and 7-8 in conference play. From ISU TV, I'm Mary Rominger.
Like we said before that package, I mean, a very emotional night for Jackson. I couldn't imagine what he was going through and what he's still going through. And, I mean, that caused him to miss the game Saturday against West Virginia. He went and attended his father's funeral. They lost 85-70. Wigginton great again, scoring 29 points. Other than that, guys, do you have any takes from that game?
Just a tough game all around, and we knew that they were down from the count, but I was just really pleased with the fight that you saw out of the team, and it was good to see a lot of those guys getting experience. Terrence Lewis, I mean, he had a lot of bright spots and then a lot of spots where you can see he's still learning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was my biggest takeaway from that game. We knew it was going to be tough, but I was proud of the way they went out there and fought.
I agree with you, Ben. Brian?
It was all about freshmen. They really stepped up. It was between Wigginton, Lard, and one other freshman who I don't remember at the moment, but they combined for 49 points. And so, I mean, it looks bright for the future. It was a tough loss, but
Lewis,
yeah, Lewis.
So
Yeah, Lewis had a good game. He knocked down 3-4 threes, I think, that game. So that was nice to see. And like you said, I mean, we knew going into it was going to be, you know, very uphill battle against West Virginia, a team that is known for their press defense.
Yeah.
And Iowa State's coming in with 6 guys, not counting Brace. Brace ended up playing a couple minutes, but very, very few. I mean, it is a recipe for disaster, but like you said, I mean, they really battled. It was nice to see that for them being so unmatched in that game. Mm-hmm. And then tonight was senior night, and it was for Jackson and Brace and Beverly. And, you know, this game, it seemed like the Cyclones just could never get over the hump. Mm-hmm. They lost by 9. Guys, any takeaways from this one? And can the Cyclones get one more regular season win before it ends against Oklahoma?
It was looking like a good game up until halftime, but after halftime, they came out firing on all cylinders and just kind of buried us right off the bat.
Yeah, they really did, Ben.
Yeah, Wigginton and Jackson were really the only offense we had in this game at all. I mean, Lard looked to be out of it. Like, his head wasn't in there on a Tuesday night, but you can't say enough about what Jackson's doing, I think, for him to go out and do that on senior night and be consistent ever since. I mean, the passing of his father. He's been a great player for Iowa State since day one he got here. And it'll be sad to see him go. And then it was a nice gesture by Prom to see Beverly and Brace both get the start. And, I mean, those guys might not know it now, but they're part of, you know.
They're part of the building block.
Exactly.
And, yeah, I mean, Wigginton had his 11th 20-point game of the season. I mean, I think everybody knew this guy was going to be great.
Yeah.
We were all excited for it, but boy, especially these last few weeks, it feels like he's really come onto the scene as a great player, and he might be one of the best in the country next year.
Yeah, no doubt.
And on top of that, I mean, Terrence Lewis had another good game tonight. 4 for 5 from 3, so I'm excited to see what he does next year. You know, he's going to get some more minutes with Jackson gone, and I think he's going to get some more opportunities to kind of become that three-point shooter the Cyclones are really looking for. Lastly, men's basketball, Big 12 tourney right around the corner. Right now where it currently stands, it looks like Iowa State's either going to face off against Oklahoma or they're going to take on Baylor in the first round. They're going to have the 10 seed of the tournament, which means they're playing the 7. Oklahoma is currently losing to Baylor by 20 points, so it's starting to really look like Oklahoma might actually get the 8 seed. So things are kind of dicey right now. You know, the Big 12, you can see all the records here. Almost everybody's got the same record at the bottom.
Yeah.
7-9, 7-9, 7-10, 7-10. K-State, TCU playing right now. So if I had to guess, I think Iowa State's going to end up playing either Oklahoma State or Oklahoma. And do you think they could come out with a win and maybe go on a run in the tournament?
I like that matchup with Oklahoma. You look at what we were able to do to them in our first game, which, you know, we have been very inconsistent this year. But I think if you play Oklahoma 2 times in 2 weeks, back to back, and you've already beaten them once, I like that chemistry for Iowa State in a first round game. An Oklahoma team that's been sinking since about the midway point of the season. I mean, that's like a good first round Big 12 game that you could win, and then once you get that first game under your belt, who knows what's going to happen. So,
yeah, I mean, this team at one point was ranked as high as number 4 in the country, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
See them drop off the way they have. It kind of reminds me of that Hawk team a couple of years ago. Iowa Hawkeyes, they got up to number 3, and they dropped all the way down to, I think, an 9 seed in the tournament. Brian, what do you think?
Yeah, Oklahoma, just to add on to that, they're 1-6 in their 7 games, or last 7 games, about to be 1-7 and 8.
Yeah.
They've lost a step somewhere along the way, and we just got to take advantage of that.
They have, and I think Iowa State has enough talent, and we've seen what they can do here at home. I think they could win a couple, and they've battled Kansas very close twice this season, home and away. Kansas also got upset by TCU in the first round of the Big 12 tournament last year, so that would be interesting to see if they could get there. That's going to get us over to women's basketball now. The women's team hosted the 6th-ranked Texas Longhorns for senior night Saturday. I was able to make it over there for the festivities. It was senior night in Ames, Iowa, as both Emily Durr and Claire Ricketts were playing their final game inside Hilton Coliseum. The Cyclones were looking to send them seniors out on a terrific note with an upset win over the 6th-ranked Texas Longhorns, while Texas was trying to spoil the party. Durr not messing around, getting on the board early here with the jumper, and brings the score within 5. A few plays later, Carlton, with a nice finish in the paint, she finished with 23 points. Cyclones down 21-17 at the end of the first quarter. The Longhorns dominated the glass all night. This second chance basket helped give the Texas Longhorns a 41-29 lead at the half. But the Cyclones didn't go away. Durr finds freshman Kristen Scott for an easy 2, and then sophomore Adriana Camber lays it in just before the buzzer sounds. And the same Cyclone team that lost to Texas by 32 earlier in the season trailed by just 7 heading to the 4th. However, Iowa State just ran out of gas late, and their upset bid falls just short with a final score of 72-59. Durr says that the team and the fans have made her time as a Cyclone very special.
Personally, I think these fans are the best in the country. I've had the best 4 years here, honestly. I wouldn't change one thing about it. And I just hope, they remember me next year, and I hope they, do really good next year.
It gave this program, I think, in my mind, exactly what it needed when it needed it. And this program's in a better place moving forward for whatever happens. So, and that's a credit to Emily Durr and to Claire Ricketts, and I can't thank them enough and their families for making that happen.
Well, guys, the Cyclones actually just got done playing a few minutes ago. They beat Kansas 65-56, which ensures that they'll be the 7 seed in the Big 12 tournament, meaning they'll play Texas Tech, who's 1-17 in the Big 12 this season.
Yeah.
So a good first matchup for the Cyclones. And now when they win, or if they win, instead of going on and playing Baylor in the next round, who is just about unbeatable in women's basketball, they'll play Texas, who also is a very good basketball team, but just in the senior night showed, Iowa State, I think, can play with Texas.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of this team, beating Texas Tech and possibly winning another one?
Yeah, that's a good win for the Iowa State women's basketball team tonight, going on the road and finishing out the season the right way. And so obviously they have that likable matchup with Texas Tech. You always, if you're in the first round, you always want to be the 7th seed. So they've got that going. I think if they can ride off this Kansas game and get over Texas Tech, I also like their matchup with Texas, like I like Iowa State with Oklahoma, where Texas is a team that right before they beat Iowa State had got beaten by Baylor, so there's a loss, and then Iowa State just couldn't make open shots on that senior night. As
they were right there.
But I mean, they were down 8 points, like right around that the whole game, and it always looked like they were going to close it, and they just couldn't do it. So this would be their chance to do it. Hilton South.
Yeah, the Texas Tech game is good news now. That's big. I saw Iowa State this year as sort of like the dark horse that could win more games than anyone expects them to. They've won big games in the Big 12 so far. They're obviously not Baylor, but they have the chance to do something big.
Yeah, and when you have Bridget Carlton on your team, anything really is possible.
Yeah.
We know how good she is. We've seen
Underrated.
that from firsthand experience. A lot of other key players there. I think Iowa State could do something special. Let's move on to gymnastics. The gymnastics team has 5 more wins under their belt after this weekend. On Friday, they hosted the Cyclone Quad Meet Invitational, it looks like, and they defeated 19th ranked Minnesota, usual powerhouse team in Michigan State, and Wisconsin Stout. They didn't lose their stride to go into Sunday either. They actually beat their season record for a match in 196.5, which is incredible. 23rd ranked Cyclones are on a roll, 15-2. They're going to be traveling to Lincoln, where they're going to be facing off against 14th ranked Nebraska, 2nd ranked UCLA, and Kent State. Wow, competitive field. What do you guys think? Cyclones carry the momentum?
I think they can. 15-2, that's the best we've had in a while, so I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, I mean, they've been good overall. I mean, in all assets.
Their stars are really coming out this year. I saw Madeline Johnson took Event Specialist of the Week in the Big 12 back-to-back weeks now.
Yeah.
Setting career highs in bars and beams. So, I mean, if they can continue and get better as a team as a whole, who knows how far they can go.
You know, and I think this program's on the rise even more than just this year. And the main reason is, you know, the Cyclone fan base is so great, and it seems like gymnastics still gets a lot of fans here. I think that's going to keep bringing recruits in. This could turn into a hub there for big recruits.
Some of their best meets are definitely at Hilton Coliseum.
The softball team started off really hot. They cooled down a little bit this weekend, going 2-3 at the Aquafina Invitational. 2 of those games were against the 2nd-ranked Florida Gators, a team that's a regular in the Women's College World Series. Lost both those 8-0 and 3-0. In both their wins, they actually shut out both Georgia Southern and Illinois State. Brianna Wahlbacher was terrific through 14 innings in those 2 games, no runs, 7 strikeouts. So the Cyclone team's 8-7. They'll be back in the Sunshine State this weekend in Florida. They're going to be in the Courtyard Marriott Osprey Classic in Jacksonville. First game's going to be against Virginia Tech. It'd be nice to see the Cyclones win there.
Yeah, I think
A couple chances. I mean, Virginia Tech's a pretty
I think
good
all
program.
these games on the road are just going to benefit them, even if we can't tell right away. Les was saying last week their first home game isn't until about March, but I think we're not going to get a chance to see this softball team. And then when they come play home, you know, towards the end of the year, I think they'll surprise us a little bit.
I think so too. I mean, it seems like they're on the right track. They're playing very good teams. It's only going to prepare them even more for the Big 12, which has a lot of very good teams. Lastly, let's talk about the golf team. Finished 5th out of 16 teams at the National Invitational Tournament in Arizona. Denzel Iremia finished 2nd individually for the Cyclones. I mean, what an outing there. Tied for the 3rd best 54-hole round in school history with a 202. Now has 10 career top 10 finishes and 4 on the season. So the golf team's getting it done, especially there with Denzel. He's off to a good start this season, and it looks like it's just going to keep building.
Yeah, it's nice to see somebody step up after the departure of Nick Vogt from last season. And, I mean, I think Iowa State's got a chance to hang around in the Big 12 this year.
You know what? I think that's going to wrap it up here for Cyclone InCyders. Thanks for tuning in. With Brian Birchka and Ben Olson, I'm Zach Williamson. We'll see you next Tuesday. And as always, go Cyclones.